Can I just have my friends in the audience say hi nicely to me? Thank you. Much better. Now let's be formal. Distinguished members of the media of India and across Southeast Asia, welcome and good morning to you. Partners, friends of cinema, and fellow dreamers, welcome to the iconic Taj Mahal Palace in Mumbai. We're delighted to have each and every one of you with us for what promises to be a very special morning. Before we begin, I'd like to just give you a couple of house rules. No filming is permitted on your phones during this press conference. We promise to provide you with complete coverage of today's event, so we please ask for your kind cooperation. However, a little birdie told me that you could actually record audio if you feel like. Now would be a good time to turn your phones to silent. Can I give you a second to do that? Kindly note, washrooms on this level are inaccessible today. So kindly use the washrooms located on the ground floor. Our team can guide you should you need any assistance. Once we welcomed our guests on stage, we will open the floor for a moderated media Q&A. We request you to kindly only ask your question when invited, and that too, please do mention who you want to ask the question to, because there are 4 people on stage with me. Once the session concludes, kindly exit through the main doors behind you. Our team will assist you. And on that note, let's turn our attention to the reason we're all gathered here today. This is not a press conference, I'll be honest. It's a celebration of storytelling at its grandest scale. A film inspired by humanity's greatest adventure. A story of courage, destiny, and an extraordinary journey home, the Odyssey. Would you like more volume? Could you help us with that, please? Thank you. Is this better for you? Thank you for that. Now, Mumbai has always been a city that embraces cinema like no other. Over the last 24 hours, that relationship has been on full display. If you were here at the screening yesterday, if you were, you can give yourselves a round of applause. Yes. It was so beautiful. It was so special. I said this off script last night when I said we're bonded for life, this team that was in that screen. The screening ended with a special greeting from Team Odyssey that included the producer, actors, and the director at the movie theater. This is also the first time India has become part of a global premiere tour for a major Hollywood film. And today, we're thrilled to welcome the filmmakers and members of the cast for this landmark moment, celebrating one of the year's most anticipated cinematic moments. I'd also like to take a moment and welcome all our guests who've come all the way from their countries. A warm welcome to each of you. My friends in India, please put your hands together and give them a warm welcome. Thank you for being with us. May I welcome our guests for this morning? Our first guest is an Academy Award-winning producer whose vision and dedication has helped bring some of the most acclaimed and ambitious films of our time onto the big screen. As the producer of the Odyssey, she continues to champion bold storytelling and cinematic excellence. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Academy Award-winning producer Emma Thomas. Matt, thank you so much for your brilliant performance as Odysseus. I want to ask you, what does Odysseus teach us today that the modern world might have forgotten?
Wow, wonderful question. I just want to add really quickly to Tom's, just because there was one story it just reminded me of, which was in terms of the scale of this film. We were shooting Troy, the sacking of Troy, and there was a shot where Hoyte was following me with the camera. He had it on his shoulder, and buildings were on fire, and there were thousands of people battling, and somebody ran past me on fire just through the crowd as a little detail in the shot. And through this incredible, beautiful chaos, we hear Chris shout, "Cut," and everything stops. And Hoyte takes the camera off his shoulder and hands it off and turns to me and says, "You realize this is a flashback." So that was my moment where I went, this is really big. This is as big as it gets. But I think Odysseus certainly in this film teaches us that you will live with the consequences of your choices, and so choose carefully.
Wow. So beautifully said. For someone who's always taken us to the future, you took us to the past this time and then made us suddenly think about our present. That is Christopher Nolan for you, ladies and gentlemen. Chris, I want to ask you a very personal question, because this is a question from all of us in the room today. What made you choose India as part of the Odyssey's press tour journey?
Oh, well, that's easy. I mean, I first came to Mumbai years ago, brought by my friend Shivendra to do a conference about the future of film, and I met a lot of filmmakers and really got to know a little bit about the film culture here. And I've never been anywhere in the world with an appreciation of what movies can be and what they should be for audiences. And to me, it seemed crazy that we wouldn't be bringing our films here to premiere them for Mumbai audiences, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be able to do this. We had actually intended to come with Tenet originally, because we filmed here in Mumbai, and then because of the pandemic, we weren't able to. And so finally, we're actually able to, and it's a thrill. We've wanted to do this for years.
Yes, and Mumbai feels special these last 24 hours. I mean, how do you give joy to a city? Ask Christopher Nolan, I guess. Yeah, it was beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. I promised you just one question each. This is where we move to you, my wonderful audience. We're opening the floor for questions. But as we've said, we're going to take names of you first, and then please do point your question to who you want to ask it to. We're going to start with Alka Shahani from the Indian Express. Alka ji? Hi, Alka ji.
Hi, hello. Thank you, Mr. Nolan, and your extraordinary team for bringing this spectacular experience to India first. As you know, in India there is a massive fandom. You enjoy their love and appreciation. What do you think has contributed to building this connection?
I mean, I just like to think that films are a universal language. It's one of the things I most enjoy about working on large-scale films is you get to take them around the world and you get to connect with different cultures all across the world. And I think when films really connect, when they have universal themes and sort of timeless themes, as I hope that the Odyssey does, it's wonderful how it kind of brings us together. And for us to go on the road and travel and come here, so I was about to say far from home. I didn't want to say that. I got stuck. Just going to say, if you see only one Tom Holland film this summer, it's pretty thrilling to come to a completely different place and find, commonality, find entertainment together, find laughter and love and tears together in a movie theater. It's what the movies are all about. So this is the ultimate kind of expression of that for us. And it's been really thrilling to see our films in the past connect with Indian audiences. So thank you.
Thank you, Alkaji, for your question. I'm going to move on, but hey, we had that in joke, okay? And forever. Let's move on to Anupama Kumar from the IANS. Hi, Anupama.
Hello everyone. My question is for Matt. So yesterday when I saw this film, before I ask my question, let me tell you that it brought back my childhood memories when I read the poem, The Odyssey. And my question to you is that of all the characters that you have done in your career spanning 30, 35 years, which one has impacted you personally the most?
Well, I think I would have to say this one because at having the benefit of those 35 years behind me and to have the opportunity to play a role like this, he's such a fascinating, complex character, but to do it at this scale, in this way, with Chris, you know, everything practical, everything in camera, it felt like my one chance to make a David Lean movie, and I'd always wanted to do that, and I felt such gratitude from the moment he called me. I knew what this was. I mean, I had a sense of what this was going to entail, and it required so much work from so many thousands of people. But you knew you were among kindred spirits. Every single person there wanted to be there and nowhere else. And we collected crew members in every country we went to. And you knew you were working with the elite from that country who were coming on board for that section to kind of take on that set piece. And then you'd move on and you'd pick up, you know, new members in Greece and Italy and Iceland and Morocco. It was just the most exceptional group of people who were all there for the same reason. And so I think, you know, I said to Emma early on, I can't believe you decided to produce this movie. What is wrong with you? You know, I said, I'm so happy I'm not a producer on this movie because the level of coordination would just beggared the imagination. But she said to me, you know, this is like 6 or 7 movies, but we've actually made each of these movies already. You know, we've been on the water with Dunkirk, we've been up mountains with Batman, you know, so we've made all of these movies, and so we're prepared to make this one. And that's kind of how I felt. It took every kind of tool in the toolkit that I've been evolving and refining for my life to meet this moment, and I got to meet it with the most extraordinary group of people. So I would have to say this is the one.
Thank you for your question, Anupama. And thank you for your answer, Matt. We move to Naini Thakkar from Forbes India. Hi, Naini. There's a mic coming to you.
Hi. First of all, congratulations. What an incredible film. And it was truly an experience to all of you. My question's for you, Tom. Indian audiences sort of love these larger-than-life kind of films. What do you think will surprise them about the Odyssey?
I think the thing that is most surprising is that the scope and the scale doesn't come at the behest of the emotion. I think you're going to see a movie where you're going to see set pieces that are going to blow you away, and you'll see things that you've never seen before. But I think that because Chris decided to shoot this movie on IMAX, he is welcoming the audience into an experience that I think is really unique. And I think that you will get to feel the heartache that Matt portrays so well. You'll get to feel the longing from Anne Hathaway as Penelope, you know? And I think that I've never experienced anything like that as an audience member, let alone as an actor. So I just think people will watch this movie and feel a sense of connection to Chris's work and our work that feels really unique and profound.
I totally agree with you. I know I was bawling pretty much to the second half. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Naini. We're going to move to Reshmi from the Deccan Chronicle. Hi, Reshmi. Good morning.
Hi. I'm still hung over the movie, so thank you so much, Mr. Nolan and Matt and Tom. Thanks for that brilliant work. My question is for Emma. Emma, if you had to describe the Odyssey in 3 words, which the Indian audiences are like waiting to experience, what would they be?
It's a hard one. I would say, gosh, epic. It has to be the first one. I mean, it's absolutely huge, and the story is told on the grandest scale. I would say experiential. It's a big experience. It sort of really makes you feel like you're in it with the characters. And then finally, and actually most importantly, I would say human. Because I think that as big as the movie is, and as far in the past as we know, as it takes place, ultimately what really distinguishes this story for me is the fact that, and I think what is so great about what Chris and these amazing actors have done is that it makes us identify, it makes us realize that we have more in common with these people from the past and with our fellow human beings than we've realized. We're all just human ultimately, and we care about home, wherever that is, whether it's be a place or a relationship or whatever. And so yeah, human. Epic, experiential, human.
Thank you so much, Rachel.
That's much better than my 3 words, which were going to be Matt, Tom, and Anne.
Anupama Ramakrishnan from the Deccan Herald is next.
Hello, Odyssey family, and to the head of the family, my question is for you, Chris. One thing that really fascinates me about the Odyssey is that we don't actually know if Homer was a single person at all. The poem may have come from a generation of storytellers, and you have a distinct voice. When you adapt a story with no definitive author, as some believe, does it feel creatively freeing, or does it make you feel, have an even greater responsibility?
That's a great question. Yeah, I mean, I certainly wasn't worried that Homer, whoever or whatever they were, was going to come after me in the press or anything. But Homer, whoever or whatever they are, has plenty of representatives who feel they know exactly what was intended. So anytime you take on a piece of literature that's known and beloved by so many people, and this is a story that's fascinated generation after generation for 3,000 years, a lot of different people have a lot of different ideas of what it's going to be like. But for me, like when Emma and I were doing the Dark Knight films, and we were working on a beloved character, Batman, we sort of realized that you just have to make the best film you can and put a strong interpretation, your interpretation on. And I think people who love the piece of literature, in this case the Odyssey, hopefully they enjoy the respect that we're showing to the original source by making as good a film as we know how to make. Sorry,
She asks if you have a literature background, because she's someone who studied literature.
I studied literature at university, but not very well, so I don't really have much of a literature background, but on paper I do.
Thank you, Anupama. Let's move to Rohit Khilnani from the Bollywood Hangama. Hi, Rohit. Good morning.
Thank you. Hi, great to see all of you in Mumbai. And as always, you're doing a wonderful job, Rohini. My question is to Matt. When we walk out of the theater, Odysseus stays with us. His qualities, there's so much to think about. What is that one quality or few qualities that stayed with you that you would like to imbibe?
Oh, great question. Because I think it depends sometimes really on where you are in your own life when you encounter this story. I think that's why it's endured, right? Because, as a young man, I probably viewed it more as a coming-of-age story. Encountering it again in my 50s, it struck me very differently, and I really related to this character, and with a lot of life behind him, a lot of, he's flawed, he doesn't make the right choice. He very much has to live with what he's done. Yeah, I'd probably, if I had one word, I mean, complicated is the word that Homer used, so that would be one. But having been through this experience, perhaps endurance.
That's true. Thank you, Rohit, for your question. Let's move to Ekta Sinha from L. Hi, Ekta. Good morning.
Hi. Firstly, I hope you guys are enjoying your time in India. The film was so stunning. I'm still in haze of the film. My question is for you, Tom. You have done so many films across your journey in the film industry for now, and the Odyssey is all about adventure, identity, preservance. What of these themes resonated with you the most?
Sorry, say that again?
What of these themes resonated with you the most? Be it adventure, the identity piece, or the preservance of the story?
Well, the adventure is something that excites me. What I love about making movies is you never really know what's around the corner. And making a movie with Chris on this scale, you really never know what's around the corner. It could be a 30-foot cyclops. But the idea of self-discovery and identity I find really interesting, especially for Telemachus. He's a young kid who is becoming a man, and it's, for me, feels very much like the original coming-of-age story. And I think exploring something like that in a movie of this size was really, really exciting. And, you know I spoke about it before, but what was so exciting was shooting those really intimate moments on an IMAX camera, because it felt like when we were making the movie, you guys were already in the room with us. You know, there really was a sense that this movie is a love letter to cinema and therefore to our audiences. And I think feeling that pressure on a daily basis was really exciting. And, you know, in some circumstances, pressure is a privilege. And on this movie, it really was. So for me, I think exploring that self-identity and knowing that we were doing it on the biggest stage was really quite something to handle on a daily basis.
Thank you, Ekta, for your question. Rajesh Naidu from the Economic Times next.
Hi, congratulations to the team. Since last year, Hollywood films have been doing really well in India. I mean, the share of the total box office revenues is 11 to 12%. My question is to Emma. Do you think India will emerge as one of the biggest drivers for box office revenue for global cinema in India? For global cinema?
Sorry, do I think...
My question is, do you think India will emerge as one of the biggest drivers of box office collection for global films?
I mean, yes. I mean, India is clearly a market that loves cinema. I mean, you have such a vibrant sort of Hollywood, Bollywood and other Indian film tradition here. And I'm thrilled that Hollywood is also seeing the potential for bringing films here. I think that, you know, there's been a lot of talk in Hollywood about sort of people not going to the cinemas anymore, and I think that India is showing us that actually the future is in theatres. And so we're very happy to be able to bring this film here. We're very happy that there will be many more films here, and we're very happy that that Hollywood films are doing such great business here, because ultimately, as Chris said, you know, what we love to do is make films that resonate with people around the world, and so it's a huge privilege to be able to release movies in India.
Thank you, Rajesh. I'm going to move to Kiran Jain from the Amar Ujala. Hi, Kiran. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Hi, firstly, congratulations and thank you for bringing such a beautiful movie to us. My name is Kiran, and my question is to Chris. So you've inspired many people in India to watch films in IMAX. What was your experience working in India, and what makes Indian IMAX fans so special?
My experience working in India, I mean, I've had two experiences working in India, one in Jodhpur, one in Mumbai, and it was fabulous. I mean, certainly for somebody coming with fresh eyes to this city, everywhere you look, there's something that you want to photograph as a filmmaker. Everywhere you see beauty, you see texture, you see things, and it was such a pleasure to engage with local crews, and we had, you know, wonderful assistant directors and camera crew and everything. It was fantastic, and we were shooting IMAX at that time. On this film, we shot IMAX for the entire movie, which we weren't able to do on any of the earlier films because we didn't have a way of silencing the cameras. So on this film, for the first time, we had this blimping system where you could put the camera into this box, and it was quiet enough that we could shoot, you know, these guys performing their most dramatic scenes So the entire film is on IMAX. I mean, you know, we were in an IMAX theater last night, and it's just, I think it was an absolutely beautiful theater, and there are increasingly many beautiful theaters in India showing these large screen presentations. It's a really, really fun way to see a film and feel immersed in the entire movie. And so what we're trying to do is shoot the film in the best way possible so that all of these places around the world, and in India in particular, where an audience can go and see it on one of these massive screens, they have the most incredible experience we can give them.
Thank you so much for your question. I'm moving to Jinal Bhatt from Variety India.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. My question is for Matt. I'm glad that you're here with the team. Your movie has been amazing. You've rendered a room full of writers at a loss of words with what you've created. But we'd love to have you back sooner. So if there's an Indian filmmaker that you could collaborate with, who would that be and why?
Oh, wow. Gosh. I mean, yeah, the filmmaker starting out that everyone wanted to collaborate with was Shekhar Kapoor. And I remember when I couldn't do the Four Feathers for some reason, and I was really upset with about that. But because I think I was signed up for a Bourne movie. So I guess he's always been on my list, and so I'd like to have another go. That's like a 20-year-old little debt I've been carrying around in my pocket. So I would say.
Thank you, Jinal. Thank you so much. Divya Malhotra from the ANI, please. Good morning, Divya.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to India. And my question is for you, Tom, that recently in an interview you revealed that you mistook Christopher Nolan's frequent cuts due to IMAX timer to the dissatisfaction of your performance. So since this is the first time that you're collaborating with him and shooting for the IMAX timer camera, so how has your approach to emotional scenes shooting has changed? Because that is the core of a mythological film. The technical environment of shooting for an IMAX camera, how has the approach of shooting the emotional scenes has changed for you?
Yeah, shooting with IMAX requires a great deal of collaboration, not just between the actors and the director, but the actors and the crew, and then in turn the camera department. We were so lucky that our camera department were more like an F1 pit crew than they were, because they were so fast, they were so effective, they were so professional. And for us, when we're doing emotional scenes or scenes that require a lot of energy, the death of that scene is the loss of momentum. And those guys, our team, made sure that we never lost momentum. So a lot of the credit has to go to them. I think I was really lucky that I did a play the year before I did this movie, because working with IMAX and understanding how precious that film was kind of feels a little bit like doing a stage play where you know that those moments are fleeting, and if you miss it, you'll have to wait till tomorrow to try and get it right. So for me, taking some of that on-stage discipline to the set was really, really helpful when we were trying to find those emotions and bring that to life. And then the other thing that you have to try and figure out is that there's a big difference between stage acting and film acting. And then I think there's almost an equal difference between film acting and IMAX acting, because there's a subtlety that you have to bring, just because logistically you're going to be 100-foot tall, which I wish I was, by the way, on the IMAX screen. So figuring that out was a really fun challenge, and I think everyone rose to the occasion.
Thank you so much, Divya, for your question. We're going to Trisha from Live Mint.
Hello and welcome to India. It's an absolute delight to speak to all of you. And it was probably one of those movies that I will most likely go for once again, and I will ask others to go for it. I did text a bunch of my friends and I was like, you have to go for it. You cannot miss out on this. So my question is for Emma, and it is that Christopher Nolan's films have always had an incredibly passionate audience in India. How special is it to bring the Odyssey here ahead of its release and to see that enthusiasm firsthand, as you saw yesterday?
Well, I mean, as Chris said, it's something that we've wanted to do for a long time, to bring a film here. And we've obviously heard about the passion and the excitement of the audiences here, but it is amazing to see it in person. We also had a little taste of it a few years back. We brought a print of Dunkirk and screened it here, and that was amazing. And I think that was actually in many ways the sort of catalyst for wanting to bring a new film. Yeah, I mean, it's, as I said it before, it's just a privilege. We're so lucky to get to do what we do in general. But this experience of bringing a film here and getting to see audiences here and sort of really see what the cinemas look like and just sort of be here with you, it's just a huge privilege, and we know how lucky we are.
Well, thank you so much for your question and questions, ladies and gentlemen. This is where we'll close the floor. And can I please request Team Odyssey now to leave their microphones behind on your chairs, and we can stand up and take a photograph. That's what's on my cards. Thank you so much. Thank you. Do you want to huddle closer? Do we want to huddle closer? One just with Team Odyssey, please. Emma, Tom, Matt, Christopher, thank you so much for sharing your time, your stories, and your passion with us today. There is truly something beautiful for us to be able to converse with you in a language that we're bonded in forever, and that is cinema. Ladies and gentlemen, please, once again, a round of applause for Team Odyssey. Thank you. On behalf of Universal Pictures, thank you so much to the media from India and across Southeast Asia for being part of this lovely morning. Thank you to the incredible team that made the event possible, and most importantly, thank you to audiences who continue to believe in the magic of the movies. You, my friends, make that happen every day. Never forget that. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and we'll see you at the movies. Namaskar, and thank you.